All right. I think I want Keith to introduce me whenever I come all the time now. It's like Greg never loves me like that. All right. Can we give it up for 2 lines one time, y'all? All right. So not a random question, but kind of not a random question. Okay. So y'all remember whenever y'all were like in high school and I'm telling you this story because it's the best way that I know to explain what I'm about to talk about. You might have been in a friend group and you got these 2 friends and all of a sudden they start dating. Now, it's cool for a little bit until they break up. But the awkward thing is you are still friends with both of them. And you have to hear about the other person from the other person and then back and forth and back and forth. And sometimes they don't say the most flattering things about each other. And this is like the biggest parallel that I could draw with the poetry community sometimes. Not just the poetry community, but if you find yourself in work, in a dimension, you notice that what happens a lot of times with people who you develop really close relationships with, that are close at a point, and all of a sudden something happens and it breaks them apart. But then there you are in the middle. And there are times where you have to decide, sometimes you may want to pick a side, because it's really awkward being stuck in the middle of people who you care about like evenly, but like they're at odds with each other, right? I say this because I know that there are a lot of poets in this room right now. I'm all the way from Houston. We have this in our community. It's hot down there. Don't cheer for that. It's hot. The low is 98 degrees right now. This is heaven to me. But like I see this all the time in my community, right? So I know for a fact that it happens here in Philly. I know for a fact that it happens in New York, in Baltimore, in Chicago, in Atlanta, because I hear stories all the time everywhere. And in my particular community, I'm sort of a Switzerland, a middle ground where people come to air out their grievances. And there have been times where people have tried to make war on me. War on my land. And I try my best to resolve to love and spite, but it's really difficult, right? Because I'm so tired, y'all, of watching us rip each other apart, of watching my people rip each other apart. At first, I wanted to write something out of anger, but wrath fuels war. And some of y'all have been thriving off of chaos for too long. Then I wanted to write something beautiful. I considered concealer for the blemishes, some mascara to mask up the way some of you see each other, some blush to build beauty from that dark disposition, maybe reposition the foundation so that you can finally face each other. But that kind of makeup only serves to cover up honesty. And contrary to what you may believe, I think the ugliest thing about us is how we've blended rage into reason and then masquerade as martyrs while molding malicious intent. So by the end of this, I've accepted that some of you may give me your malice, but regardless, someone must speak truth plainly. And the truth is, it's everyone's fault. It's my fault. It's your fault. And it's their fault. Their fault for pulling the trigger. Your fault for not resolving the triggers, and my fault for trying to muzzle the bang. My fault for eating the bullets instead of disarming the gun. My fault for knowing that there's a time and season for everything under the sun, yet still failing to realize that while there is an appropriate time to heal brokenness, there's also a time to break things. And I would ask that my community please forgive me. Forgive me for giving you a shield instead of a blade, for loving you more like a fortress instead of loving you like a foot soldier, for teaching you how to walk away instead of showing you how to walk them down, for trying to keep us in formation long enough to keep hope alive, because the hardest thing about trying to save anyone is realizing you can't save everyone. It's not easy being stuck in the middle of people who hate each other and still resolving to love them in spite of the tug of war. And every day I gotta decide what kind of rope I wanna be, a lifeline or a noose. Should I hold you up or should I hang you? Because at this point it feels like hanging you might hold up my community, or holding you up might actually be a community lynching. And do you know how much weight a rope can carry? How many ways to tighten a tangle? Because the only difference between getting packed up in a box or getting wrapped up in a gift is a bow or a knot. And I've been wound up too tight for a while now. I've been bound to snap at some point. So what if I decide not to hold anyone up? Let everyone eat each other alive, or hold them out to dry, or toss them in the river. Let them see if they can Moses their way back to the promised land, or if the sea will mash their marrow in the mush. Maybe instead of being an anchor, I'll be an angler. Let you see how dark the depths can get without a guiding light. Because some of you seem to be in love with the idea of drowning or baptizing the blasphemy on your lips, but all you've ever had to do is swim towards the sun. That's why I keep trying to tell y'all, none of you are Atlantean. All of you are heaven sent, and the practice of living low is demonic. And I've been trying to convince you that holding a halo is better than gripping gossip, that leaning on love is better than hugging hate. And I'm sorry for trying to hold us together. I'm sorry for trying to juggle heaven and hell with the same hands. Because at what point does mercy turn into madness when two sides of the same coin keep flipping each other on their heads? How many times I gotta let you burn the bridges I build before I leave you stranded? Don't you know that unity is less about compromise, more about compassion, more about building a framework of service? And you can't fancy yourself a leader until you see the bigger picture, because the moment you become too big to serve is the moment you become too small to lead. And we can't trust the next generation of people who care more about tearing down legacy just to keep their relevancy alive. So I guess instead of trying to revive, I just gotta let dead things die. And I'm sorry for trying to bring us together. But the truth is, some of y'all don't want family. You want followers. You don't want community. You want a crown. And I'm sorry, but none of us are fit to lead alone. I'm sorry that I couldn't heal your hearts. I just pray that God finds you before one day you wake up and realize that we spent all this time fighting each other, that we forgot to build our world. And now no one gets a throne. No one gets a statue. No one gets their names carved in walks of fame. Your name is a crumbling castle, a house of ashes. And if you're not careful, you'll be forced to fade away in the same fire that you started. All right. So for this last one, I'm gonna give y'all a choice. Greg, help. Okay. Okay. Disclaimer. Now you got a disclaimer. Oh no! This one needs one because I did it one time okay. So who I'm talking about is not in the room. Okay. I just think that it's healthy, because if I'm a reformed menace. I have a good friend that gave me that term, and it defines me differently. If I didn't have poetry, people would be in trouble. I'm gonna just say this: Jesus and poetry are the main reasons I ain't slapped some of y'all across the lips. Scripture says that the kingdom suffers violence, and the violent taketh by force. And I am a king, face to face against a firing squad, and they loaded, ready to spark something. They cock back, ready to run down on something. They hungry, ready to kill for a crown. And I know some of these clowns been waiting on me to take an L. These hyenas laughing, laid back, relaxed with a pack of grass, burning a hole in their jeans. They smoke their green away while they smoke their green away. They got red eyes on blue faces. They want to go band for band on who really wear the belt, but can't even bet on themselves. But when a beast gets bit by a bullet, all of a sudden they get bold. They want to shoot off at the mouth, talking about some, hey, let's see what this line really talking about. But let me remind you, kinfolk, you ain't that nice. My kindness often pays a price. I tried to transmute humility into power to give you life. But in order for that kind of alchemy to work, there has to be an equivalent exchange. And I knew I should have left you with the feces at the bottom of the food chain. Now everybody talking about body bags and body counts. They want to run their mouth about position on a totem pole. But if I was really toting that pole, it's a problem for everybody. And you say, yo, Red, that's a bold point with a ball point. Would you prefer it if I pull my pen, kill a coward in cursive, ink a verse, or spit a hearse on stage, pull a sword from the page? Yeah, this paper cut, so what your pen do? Funny how you write people off in public, but can't erase the truth about yourself in private. Funny how you use everyone else's name to elevate when yours is falling. Funny how I ain't even have to name drop for you to wonder if it's you I'm talking about, because some of y'all got a lot of gossip on your gums, war talk on your tongues. Now you want to cut your teeth against the king. I see a razor tucked in your cheek, so I hope your prose is sharp as steel, because I hear you speaking bars, but I still got leaking scars. So since these vampires want to know what iron tastes like, fine, bar for bar, and you can't lock up the lion's jaws. Call it a cage, call it a cell, call it jail, penitentiary time for trying to poach this pen. No court, no judge, no jury, no defendants, but you can meet me in the yard where all the dogs get walked, and that's a prison sentence, because all I know is blood and fire and war. Now I'm torn between ripping up this art or tearing the poet apart. I got a split in my heart because I try giving you light, but you keep praying for dark. You want to sleep in the dirt so bad, eyes bloodshot. You came dressed for blood sport, but all I see is a corpse posing as a star. So if looks get killed, I guess you casket sharp. You just a carcass with a ball fist. A ghost gaslighting as a wordsmith, and I'm tired of dead men impersonating artists. You plagiarize Picasso's, you bootleg Basquiat's. You can't brush a masterpiece to the side. You can't trace my lines. I'm molded from the clay, shaped crown size. So watch your mouth when you talking to the king, because you paint pictures, I paint crime scenes. We are not the same, but you got it in your brain. You got in your brain that you can talk to me any kind of way, but it's a problem if I put your head on the platter. All that jaw jacking and idle chatter, something in that gray matter got you talking real grimy. But don't mind me, I'm just speaking my mind. But next time I'ma clean my plate, and I'ma have my cake, and I'ma eat it too. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and make you famous too. You know, you got a face for the newspapers, obituary section. Because the next time you want to line up on the media, on the mic, it won't be a fight. It'll be an execution. All right. So as I was saying before, I was rudely attacked by the entire room. That's funny. So I adore this art form. I don't just adore this art form, I adore the vehicle and the drive behind this art form. But I acknowledge something that, God forbid, if my voice stopped working one day or my hand couldn't write anymore, do I still have a reason? And do I still have a purpose? This is the most beautiful thing that I've found out about God, that poetry is a thing that requires something to drive it, right? Y'all ever looked in the mirror and notice how useless a mirror is until you stand in front of it? Because a mirror doesn't have an identity of its own. It needs something to stand in front of it to give it identity, and that's what poetry is. Y'all have heard a plethora of artists in this room. You've seen visual arts, you've heard some singing, and there are a lot of other things. Like Jared does an amazing job with the sound in this room. Yeah, you can clap it up for Jared, you know what I'm saying? Because even being able to manipulate sound is a type of art, right? I've been in places where the sound has been terrible. So listen, man, hey man, you know, this is a blessing, right? calm down. That's messy. Y'all, see, that's the problem with the church now. Messy. Lift your hands up. Somebody pray for him. But man, like, I've questioned purpose a lot, right? And I think a lot of us attach purpose to occupation. And when we don't have that occupation anymore, it's kind of like, man, what do I have left, right? But I heard somebody like say it better than me. Her name is Jade Simmons. And Jade said something really profound. She said that purpose is not the thing that you do. Your purpose is the thing that happens in other people when you do what you do. Yeah. And I remember shattering my hands once, trying to wrestle with a purpose that demanded all of me, but still, it belonged to me. So I had to prepare myself for the cost. Scripture says that your gifts will make room for you and put you before great men. My prayer is that I would become a great man that can make room for other people. First, I must become great. But nothing as simple as a sculpture, a statue. See, I want to stand stellar in my stature, be stoic when the storms get scary, and when necessary, a symbol. But how does one become monumental when the mountains in front of you create moments to make you motionless? In other words, opposition is imminent no matter how intimate with destiny you think you are. See, your adversary's intention is not merely to become a thorn in your side. Nah, they want to make sure them dreams die. Make dry that well of greatness, and they'll be patient. Wait till all the reservoirs been drawn, then dawn a drought like let's see how long you gonna last when ain't no water in your glass, when all you have are tears, fears, and a bucket full of dust and failures, when your plans are flooding the world with hope go from bursting at the seams to rusted pipe dreams. And you gotta decide if you still believe that one day the rain gonna come. If you gonna keep hanging on, even when the world tries to hang you. Say that there ain't no place for someone like you here. Say that those are really beautiful dreams you have. It'd be a shame if nobody cared about them. Say, are you even qualified for that vision? Like, who gave you permission to believe that you could change anything? Do you think yourself a divine being, a grand thing? You got God dreams, but no one knows your name. Less than 1,000 followers on the gram, no blue check, no fame. And you claim to be great just because your heart's in the right place, because of all the love you've shown. And see, now all these doubters want to know is, what do you hope to gain from love alone? But see, that's the problem with the world. Always shooting from the hip. They aiming down the sights all wrong. They see you as bullseye, so they make tactics for targets. They expert marksmen, but Mr. Market where your heart is. See, to them, you're a consumer. But to me, you're a human. To them, you're a number. But to me, you're a soul. So what's the price? And what do I got to do to create something beautiful for you? Because if given the opportunity, I believe you do the same thing too. I know that this world will see you for what you are, and they'll judge you for what you're not, and they'll try to stop you from growing into what you can become. And the question is, why are you afraid of becoming something great? The right to greatness is not something you happen to stumble upon. The right to be great is simply something you were born with. So what if I told you that greatness is your birthright? What if I told you that you were always meant to succeed, but at every level success comes with a fee? And I ain't talking the price of higher educations or degrees. Nah, it's gonna cost you some blood and teeth. When Adesanya said, you can't beat me, I'm prepared to die. I prepared my heart for that price, because anyone who's ever been great knows that it comes with a sacrifice, and I must succeed, not for the sake of me, but for the sake of the seeds I planted in kings and queens who question their beings, who broke their hands holding on to dreams bigger than themselves. So don't quit. Don't bury the tools God trusted you with. So what if 1 million people never scream your name? The blood you shed for the sake of a soul is never in vain. You're worth more than a couple clicks and hearts. Your purpose can be the key to unlocking the chains holding someone's heart, because doubt can make a prison out of passion tamed. A flame can either destroy or refine. But even if the dimes don't shine like you want them to, it doesn't change your value. See, there's a sea of broken hearts waiting by the shore. And unless they know how to soar or surf, they'll never find a way to navigate the waves. And I have no wings, which means I got to learn how to swim. Broken hands are not. I don't want to be great for the sake of me. The goal isn't to be impressive. It's to make an impression. To imprint something on your heart, something that gives you hope. Because if I can teach you hope, then you can show the world why they were wrong. That greatness is not about status or TV screens. It's clearing the static until those pipe dreams turn reality. Can you see the picture clearly now? All right. Um, that'll do it. I believe someone's supposed to come up here. Hey, Simone. Everybody say, hey, Simone.
I was staying in the back because I was hoping he would do another like 4 poems. I don't know. Anyways, can we give it up for Red? Because that was crazy. So it was tough to think of a question for Red because you cover a lot in a lot of your poems. But the last one, I think, is where I want to like hone in my question. So I think that there are moments where we know we're fulfilling our purpose. I would just, like for me, anyone who doesn't know me, I'm a middle school teacher. There's moments, thank you. There's moments or conversations I have with my students where I'm like, yeah, this is why I do it. But those moments are usually like one amongst like months of work. And I think so much of life can feel like we're living in the in-between of our purpose. It can feel like I'm searching for my purpose, or I'm refining my purpose, or I'm being prepared for my purpose. And I don't think that's necessarily true. Like, I think that our purpose is more consistent than it might feel. But how do we hold on? How do we stay motivated? How do we stay focused? How do we stay committed to the work and to the lifestyle when we're in the in-between?
That's a good question. Why you ask that? That's a good question, Lord. The best way I think I know how to answer that is with a story. I heard somebody say once that whenever you can't find God, you go back to the last place that y'all talked. And I would think in that same moment, right? This is why testimonies are important, because as people, we go through things all the time, like all the time. There's a famous quote that says, you have survived 100% of your worst days. Your worst day tried to kill you, but it did not succeed. You are here right now in this room. When you can't remember your purpose, or it feels draining to pursue a thing and not really see the fruit of it, remember that there was fruit. Remember that you did plant a seed and it did grow. Right? Remember that you made an investment in something or someone, and that investment took root, right? I guess the story that I have was whenever, so forget you, those of y'all who don't know me, like I'm a youth pastor. I'm not gonna share my little daughter's name, you know what I'm saying? She's not my blood daughter, but she feel like my daughter. She came in, the first time I saw her, her dad was trying out for choir. And she was waiting like in a waiting area. And I looked at her and I was like, hey, how are you doing? And she was like, oh, I'm good. I'm doing all right. So what you here for? My dad's joining the choir. And I looked at her and I was like, do you sing? And she was like, yeah, I sing a little bit. And I was like, what do you like singing? And she was like, you don't know my music. You don't like my music. And I was like, try me. She was like, I really like Billie Eilish. And I was like, would you like to sing Lovely with me? Because Lovely is a Billie Eilish song, for those of y'all who don't know. Billie Eilish is a great writer, by the way. She's phenomenal. Her and Phineas, great writers. So we sang Lovely together. And then I asked her, hey, did you want to join the youth choir? And she was like, I can do that? I was like, sure, dude. You know what I'm saying? So we developed this big brother, little sister kind of relationship and everything. One day she comes into practice. She's wearing a hoodie. She doesn't normally wear hoodies, right? And she comes in for like a little side hug, and her sleeve rolls up far enough for me to see that she's been cutting herself. So I pull her to the side after practice, and I ask her, hey, what's been going on? And she begins to tell me about things that are going on at home. Her brother had just gotten out of jail, got into a fight with her mom, broke one of her mom's ribs. She talked about her stepfather and how he was verbally abusive to her. And her response was, man, I just wanted to feel something. And this is significant because I can remember a time where I felt suicidal. And I can remember a time where I didn't want to make it and I didn't want to be here. And I was 26 at the time. And I realized that 18-year-old me could not have helped her. 19-year-old me could not have helped her. 21-year-old me could not have helped her, because all those versions of me were still wrestling, right? And if I could be transparent, sometimes those thoughts, they don't go away. Sometimes those thoughts are a constant thing that you wrestle with. but we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. So 26-year-old me who wanted to drive off a bridge at 21 could sit there with her, cry with her, and pray with her because God made fruit out of me to give to somebody else. So I gave her my fruit. Would you believe that she graduated from high school last year? So to answer your question, I don't get stories like that all the time, but I do have other stories similar to that. And whenever it feels like this poetry thing is really draining, this ministry thing is really draining, I remember that, man, somebody's life could depend on me continuing to go, which is why it's important for me. So now I have to ask you all a question. I didn't think about this while I was sitting down. I had all these artists to think about. I didn't even think about this question. Okay, this is my question. Have you poured into yourself as much as you've poured into everybody else today? And if not, when are you going to start pouring into yourself? That's the question. Love you.